It's day 520. It's also October 7th, 2020, and we are in Honey Creek, Iowa. You ever wake up in the morning and ask yourself, what am I doing? And more importantly, why? Yeah, me too. Hi, my name's Craig, and this is my story. A story about life. Life out there. For visuals while listening, to watch the video versions of this podcast, or even just to say hey, check us out on our website at lifeoutthere.me. So, in true Vacilando fashion, today's drive involved a bit of backtracking. Around 40 miles from Tekamah, across that Missouri River, and back into Iowa. The road twisted through the Loess Hills of Iowa, a landscape so unique that it exists only in a few places on Earth. I couldn't wait to learn more about this truly unique find. And luckily, I found this. So I'll let the folks right here at the Hitchcock Nature Center tell you the story. Way better than I could.
For many, fall signals the end of the outdoor adventure season. But for patrons of the Hitchcock Nature Center, autumn is without question the time to be outside.
Set in the rolling hills of Potawatomi County, Hitchcock offers 10 miles of trails, camping, and the perfect perch to soak in all the glorious colors that October has to offer.
From backcountry campers to passionate birders, the Hitchcock Nature Center is a must for outdoors enthusiasts.
Only two places in the world can claim to host a landform like the Loess Hills. The Huangtu Plateau in China and a 200-mile stretch of Iowa's western border. And while there are many sites designed for visitors to venture out into the hills, none are as dedicated to fostering an understanding and appreciation of the area as the Hitchcock Nature Center and Potawatomi County.
We're guided by a mission, and the mission here at Hitchcock Nature Center encompasses three main things. One, we're in the middle of the Loess Hills, so part of our mission is to protect this landform and restore the biological communities that are here. The other two parts of our mission are to provide low-impact recreation so people can get out and enjoy this place. And then the third part is to teach people about what's special about this. So we have an environmental education program that they go into all the schools, they bring all the schools out to the parks for field trips, but they don't teach about the rainforest, they don't teach about the mountains, they teach about what's really cool right here in our backyard.
In Iowa's backyard is the Loess Hills. To some, they may appear to look like ordinary hills, but underneath the prairie grass and trees lies an extremely delicate collection of dust and silt that took thousands of years to form.
It happened during the ice ages. The glaciers ground up material that flowed down here in the river and then settled out in the river valley and then blew here from the Missouri River Valley and was deposited right on the edge of the floodplain. It piled up over thousands of years into huge drifts of dust, and it's very fragile and quite unique.
Just like the Loess Hills, the Hitchcock Nature Center is unique. Unlike so many popular parks across Iowa, Hitchcock is not maintained by the state, but its host county of Potawatomi. And to Chad, this arrangement is what makes Hitchcock so special.
Well, we're fortunate in this state that every county has a conservation department that operates parks and preserves. It's a unique system in the country. And so the interesting thing about that is that every county then kind of has its own flavor, its own personality, and we're fortunate to have it.
Visitors to Hitchcock will discover a wide array of activities to enjoy, reveling in the fall color of the hills, exploring its many backcountry trails, walking the half-mile wheelchair-accessible boardwalk, joining the popular bird and hawk watch, camping, and even taking in a bit of our nation's history.
So the old Lincoln Highway was the first transcontinental highway, and it came right through here. And remnants of it are on the property, and some of the current roads that we still use here are part of that.
As educational and adventurous as the Hitchcock Nature Center is, it offers far more than can be truly experienced in just one day. And that is what makes Chad so eager to share the gifts of Hitchcock and the Loess Hills.
I think the most exciting thing for me is to help people recognize that these natural areas are amazingly complex, and they are a functioning system that defies our ability to comprehend. And it's just so much fun to try to comprehend. It brings the child out in you again, your curiosity, and there's a new discovery every day, and it's just an awful lot of fun.
And it may be early October, but the heartland isn't quite done with summer. And the gift of an Indian summer, full of perfect sunny afternoons, light breezes, and temps stretching hard to reach 78 degrees. Perfect for long hikes with Dougie, experiencing a truly one-of-a-kind part of not only Iowa, but the world. Granted, the pandemic, well, it has the full visitor center closed, but we still had the great outdoors and all these hiking trails and observation points nearly all to ourselves. And the RV park just up the road. Not empty, but not full either. Plenty of space. Oh, and a quick heads up, stink bugs in the fall. This part of Iowa does not escape those pesky little buggers. We learned quickly that any in and outs of the motorhome after nightfall, well, they'd be done in the dark. No porch light on for us. It's amazing how many of those little things will sneak in right behind you when you light the way for them. And as Dougie and I walked these hiking paths, I thought back to learning that around here it was the Otoe, Missouri, and later the Omaha and the Ponca people that would call this region home, walking the very hills that we're in today. They hunted bison, gathered wild prairie foods, and traded along the river. The Loess Hills provided natural fortifications, and their ridges held spiritual significance for the Native Americans of the region. And by the early 1800s, settlers were pushing westward. These tribes would be gradually displaced, and their way of life changed forever. By the mid-19th century, pioneers had streamed into western Iowa, drawn by the promise of this fertile land. And Honey Creek was named for the small stream that runs through it. It was officially established in the late 1800s, and the town remains small, a quiet farming community, sustained by corn, soybeans, and livestock. And yes, the arrival of the railroad in the 1880s brought new opportunities, allowing farmers to transport their goods more efficiently. And by the early 1900s, Honey Creek had a post office, a general store, and a handful of businesses that served the surrounding rural population. The population of Honey Creek has always remained modest. Census records show that in the early 1900s, fewer than 200 people called it home. And over the years, as farming technology advanced and larger cities drew workers away, the population never surged. Today, fewer than 80 residents live in the town proper, although the surrounding countryside remains dotted with farms, some of which have been in the same families for generations. Despite its small size, Honey Creek has seen its fair share of history. In the early 20th century, the town was a stop on the historic Lincoln Highway, the first transcontinental road in the United States. Travelers heading west would pass through this quiet stretch of Iowa, sometimes stopping for fuel and supplies. And during the Great Depression, like much of rural America, Honey Creek struggled. Families left in search of work, and many farms fell into disrepair. But those who stayed, they endured, finding ways to adapt and to survive. One notable event in the area's history occurred in 1983, when severe flooding along the Missouri River impacted communities all across western Iowa, including Honey Creek. roads washed out, farmland submerged. Residents had to rebuild. The event was, like in many places across the country, a stark reminder of nature's power. And today, the Hitchcock Nature Center stands as both a recreational escape and a living museum of the past. The park covers 1,268 acres, offering hiking, birdwatching, and panoramic views that stretch for miles. It's a place where the past meets the present. A place where the land still tells a story. For 2 weeks, this was home. Mornings started early, walking down the road to that farm where I was lending a hand. A few hours of work, mending fences, cleaning out barns, fixing up a roof here and there, and then back to camp, where the rest of the day was spent hiking, photographing, sharing stories with fellow travelers. So I guess the highlight of our stay wasn't just the landscape, but the people. Troy and Scott, the owners of that farm, they'd built a life here that went beyond tending livestock and working the land. Married for over 20 years, they had adopted 5 special needs children, creating a home where those who needed it most could thrive. They weren't just raising kids. They were raising a family with intention, patience, and an incredible amount of love. And now, with their youngest nearing adulthood, they were starting to wonder what might come next. Maybe, they thought, they'd hit the road too. Pack up an RV, see what the rest of the country had to offer. And before I left, they even took me on a personal tour of Council Bluffs and Omaha, treating me to lunch at one of their favorite spots. We talked about life, about travel, about what it means to create something lasting. I guess that's the thing about places like this. The landscapes are stunning, no doubt, but it's the people who make it unforgettable. As I pulled away from Honey Creek, the hills rolled behind us, fading into the distance. I'd come here for a short stay, just another stop along the way. But places like this have a way of settling into you. Maybe it's the history beneath your feet. Maybe it's the people who welcomed you in. Or maybe it's just the quiet certainty that some places aren't just meant to be seen, they're meant to be felt. I can't thank Troy and Scott enough for their generosity and the memories made in the Loess Hills of Iowa. I hope our paths cross again one day, and wherever that might be, I wonder what we'll learn there. This thing called life comes with a lot of rules. Maybe it's time to break a few. Because you can. No, seriously. You can.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.